There's a lot of Blue Eyes players, but they're not all good Blue Eyes players, right? They're not all making it
Definitely
through.
not. Some of them are those guys that are like, just buy one Blue Eyes structure deck. You'll be good, man.
All right, here we go.
Often imitated the biggest win ever. It never duplicated.
The comments, I'm not ready.
Oh, the original. And is it going to be any different this week?
I don't think so, man. DLE Kamel here. K-pause. I just forgot what I was going to say.
Circus here coming at you. First tournament, like, all right, Ken Hawk, take it back, search a card. Man, I'm cruising. This is great. Join us each week as we track decks and see how they perform in tournaments around the community. This is the DLE Power Rankings. What's up, everybody? Circus here coming at you with this week's Power Rankings video. I gotta tell you, this week it is a doozy. One deck is head and shoulders above the rest, and it's not Desperado like Kamel was hoping it would be. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Just coming off Tri-Links, and I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, Tri-Links is our competitive league that we have on Twitch on Sunday, so make sure to check that out. It's a great time. But if you're new to the series here, what we do each week is we track decks and see how they finish in tournaments around the community, and then we rank them based on how they finish. So if they get a first place finish, they get 6 points. A second place finish is 4 points. A top 4 is 2 points, and the top 8 is a single point.
That's right, Circus. And to keep the power rankings consistent, all the tournaments that we keep track of have to have the same format, that being rounds of Swiss into a top cut, and the deck format being one deck with a 7-card side where you can side in a skill. And the tournaments that met the criteria that week are the Battle Phase Series, the Meta Series, the Mimicker Cup, and the Dark World Legacy Tournament. And if you would like guaranteed entry to the Battle Phase events, you just need to become a channel member on YouTube or a subscriber on Twitch.
So there's one new deck in the Power Rankings this week. Let's see if it's number 5.
Number 5.
IZ Summon
Thunder Dragons.
Falling 2 spots this week to number 5 is Thunder Dragons. Their representation is down. The conversion rates are down. Their top 8s are down. It's not looking good for Thunder Dragons this week, Kamel.
Yeah, nothing. We were starting to talk about this last week, how we weren't seeing too much happening for Thunder Dragons. Their representation is way down in the double digits. They were picking up some traction, and now I think they're starting to lose it. Maybe some people floating over to the Blue Eyes camp losing some faith in this deck, but it's just not seeing the type of success in the meta right now because its form of destruction is not very permanent against a deck like Blue Eyes, right? Blue Eyes can get a lot of resources back from the grave from playing the long game with their back row, and a deck like Thunder Dragons have a tough time keeping up with that strategy. They can see some of their threats removed forever if they can't get them back, and they can't regain that traction if certain key boss monsters like Levianeer and Photon Strike Bouncer are removed before they can make a lasting effect on the board.
Yeah, their tournament showings were just not very good this week. Only a second place and then 3 top 4s and a top 8. So that's really low. Even for Thunder Dragons, they scored in the mid-20s for points last week. So this is a big drop for them.
Yeah, you can see Thunder Dragons is a deck where the representation really matters for the amount of points that they get. It was really carrying them, having a lot of people playing it. So they are seeing a very large hit from their representation being cut down. Let's see if this keeps up.
All right, let's check out number 4 then.
Number 4.
Swing, swing, swing. Takes 24.
Automats.
For the 3rd week in a row, Automats taking the 4th spot. I don't think we've ever seen a deck consistently hit 4th place on the power rankings. But if you look at it again, representation is down. Top 8 conversion rates are down. Just top 8 finishes are down. What is going on with Automats right now?
Well, we've been talking about for a couple of weeks that the Automat play style is kind of getting figured out, kind of getting outdated. It's not really good enough against some of the other decks that are, coming up with their kind of effects that let you survive the kind of OTK strategy that Automats are built around in oppressing you over. Hate Your Nade not enough for all decks. Some of the other decks that are moving up, they're starting to depend on hand traps and continuous cards that you can flip up before Hatronade on the field, stuff like Fiendish Chain and Treacherous Trap Hole to remove things before your opponent, goes all in. But Automats, if they can't Hatronade, it is kind of rough. They do often sacrifice a lot of draw power to get off that removal unless they, have the exact monsters they need during that automata play turn.
Yeah, and they don't have a lot of room for techs. They're using offerings to the doomed. We see that, but besides that, they don't have a lot of room to sneak stuff in. Are we going to see them taking monsters out to fit more spells and traps in over the next coming weeks? I wonder.
It's a big thing in this meta. Not being able to side deck really sucks, and automats really need everything here. They need the on-spot offerings destruction, and nothing else kind of offers that for that quick play, tag.
Mm-hmm.
So it's strange.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they can come up with. Maybe they'll make it to third place next week, or fifth, or maybe they're just happy with where they're at. We'll have to see. All right, let's take a look at number 3.
Number 3.
TTH, oh my god.
The Water Deck.
Following the trend of every other deck this week, representation down from last week. Third place, Water Deck. What is going on here? It's like everybody's just playing some other deck right now, Kamal. I wonder what's going on there.
Yeah, Water Deck is kind of the first of 3 of a trifecta of decks that are being heralded as tier 1 right now. One of those decks not even on the DLE power rankings. The Water Deck is seen as kind of the least consistent of those decks just because your monster core, it runs out. It's really hard for you to generate card economy for your monster engine naturally. You typically start off with 2 to 3, and if you can't really make your back row last to get you some more, you end up running out of steam sooner than later, and that is something that the other top decks don't really have to worry about, right? So the next couple of decks we're talking about, they really don't run into that problem, where the Water Deck, that is kind of their main problem. You can see the monster core here. It's basically what you open in your hand, and it's kind of hard to get stuff otherwise.
And if you notice right here, this is the first deck in the power rankings to actually have a win this week. All the wins just being sucked up into the top 2. So I guess it's good that a few wins trickle down into the lower ranks here. But 4th and 5th place, no wins. Finally, the Water Deck getting 2 wins in the Meta Freakly series.
Yeah, absolutely brutal this week. This was not an easy week, it seems. So let's see how number 2 fared.
Number 2.
Doesn't even have to activate the Alistair. Lethal.
Fire Kings.
Shooting up 4 spots to number 2 this week is Fire Kings. I think they finally found their place in the meta. Look at that representation, though. 70 people play the deck, 3 tournament victories, including the Meta Weekly.
Yeah, it is that Blue Eyes mirror match everyone is talking about it. Fire Kings have the hottest Blue Eyes mirror match right now, being able to clear a board of 3,000 attack point monsters like that with no problem, with just a couple of monster effects your opponent can easily lose track of, especially if they are playing Blue Eyes, trying to finish you off. Also, this deck, Gozu, playing 3 Drowning Mirror Force. We did see some drownings in Fire King decks today in Shrines.
Yep.
And this deck is totally tanked out. 3 Book of Moon, 3 Onslaught of the Fire Kings. He is absolutely set to win, and 3 tournament wins on the week is absolutely no joke for this deck. After not being in the top 5 just last week, it graduated out of Rogue decks and saw its first week on the daily tier list. Now it's second on the power rankings. That 29% conversion rate to the top 32, 11% in the top 8 with 70 participation. That is nuts. Really good.
And this is the deck that Gozu used to get his 10th battle phase victory. So congratulations to him on that. All right.
Yeah, perfect. Good.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, let's check out number 1. Do you have any idea what it might be?
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's a mystery. Let's check it out.
Number 1.
It all comes down to this.
Blue Eyes.
Okay, with absolute ridiculous representation. This has got to be the highest we've ever seen. Look at the points. Look at the victories.
293 people played Blue Eyes this week in tournaments. What the heck? That's almost 300. That's a new record already.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is ridiculous. This is truly a Blue Eyes meta, whether you like it or not. And the Blue Eyes deck has just gotten all the more consistent, all the more unfair. The Turbo Blue Eyes build is really, really picking up in popularity, and it is because of most decks' inability to deal with 2 to 3 big Blue Eyes White Dragons and Synchro Monsters that let you chain resummon them. You know, most of your engine is Blue Eyes cards, so Treacherous Trap Hole is a very safe inclusion. More often than not, people are able to hold off so they can use 2 of them just because they're cycling their monsters so well. They're going to have boss monsters that you're going to have to worry about before worrying about back row.
Oh, and just the ability to go into Heliopolis and use the effect, and it really doesn't like hurt them. I mean, usually it's going for game, but I mean, they can very easily go into it, and a lot of times they can just recover the resources if they need to the next turn, or that turn even.
Being able to tribute from the hand with Heliopolis is huge. You know, adding your resources back to your hand with the white stones. So yeah, the Blue Eyes is just working too good right now. Yeah, absolutely too good. No lie that something needs to be done. No.
A lot of people saying it doesn't. We put out a poll and a video this week about does it need to be nerfed or power crept, and the answer is just yes. Something needs to happen because we'll look at representation here. Absolutely ridiculous. 293 to 111.
Yeah, no deck even coming close. Blue Eyes almost tripling the water deck's representation. The next closest deck. That is insane.
Just crazy, isn't it? All right, and then let's look at top 8 conversion rates. What's funny though is there's a lot of Blue Eyes players, but they're not all good Blue Eyes players, right? They're not all making it through.
Not. Some of them are those guys that are like, just buy one Blue Eyes structure deck, you'll be good, man.
Top tier deck in 1 week, man. That's all you need to do.
Oh my gosh! But yeah, of course, I definitely don't expect with the highest representation ever. I don't expect that to come with the best conversion rate ever. Blue Eyes, rightly so, 6%. But hold on. There's a deck here, Stick Chair Dark Lords. We were talking trialings today, and almost every team we spoke to, Stick Chair Dark Lords is one of the undisputed tier 1 decks. It hasn't been on the power rankings.
It was number 7 this week. Number 7.
We're going to see it on the full breakdown, but Stick Chair Dark Lords, once again, we're seeing it here, but not in the power rankings. Guys, why do you think Stick Chair Dark Lords isn't popular in battle phase events or the events we track on the power rankings?
I think on paper they're good.
On paper, yeah.
I think that's what it comes down to. All right, top 8 finishes. Here, look at this Blue Eyes just dominating everybody. Double the water deck. Jesus. And then here you go. This is why Kamel's here. He's like, Circus, if we don't do this part, I quit. And that's the tier list. Look at that. Yeah, undisputed tier 1 deck.
I would agree with that. I mean, how can based on the results from this week, I would say so. Stick Chair Dark Lords, like I said, a lot of people are confident in them. They're doing well right now, but they just straight up don't have the tournament results over the week to justify that. I'm sure if it had more representation, maybe it'd see some more points.
Well, you can see Thunder Dragons, they scored 11 points this week. Dark Lords scored 7, so I didn't think that was even close enough to consider them part of tier 3.
Yeah,
so that's a pretty big gap.
They didn't even get a runner-up in the tournament. They only got top 4. So
Blue Eyes is at 55 points, and then tier 2 Onomats, Fire Kings, and Water, they're at like 28, 23, 20. So it's like a real close cluster there. And then Thunder Dragons is all the way down at 11. So I'm like, I putting Dark Lords in there just feels like we'd be doing fan service or something, you know?
I understand. But yeah, I have to agree with this straight up. The Blue Eyes at the top, the Blue Eyes mirror matches. Yeah. Right? The Thunder Dragons is just chilling.
All right, and then check it out. Here you go. And there's the only 15 decks made the list that week. That tells us that there is a dominant deck in the meta. That always happens. We go, there's a new meta. We have like 25 decks on the list, and pretty soon we're down to 20. 18. We're down to 15. Next week, I wouldn't be surprised if we're like 13 decks, 12 decks, something like that. But you can see Blue Eyes just being super dominant. The fish
only took 1 week after the ban list. Crazy.
Yeah, the fish deck that Kamel loves. Yeah,
2 points.
2 points. Yep. All right, you tell us what you guys think about Dark Lords. Are they a tier 1 deck, or are they just super hyped up by people that like to play in tournaments? So I'd like to hear what you have to think. But make sure when you do that, get in our Discord, because we love to hear about it in there, because the Discord is free, the tournaments are free, the new player help is free. Kamel is more than happy to give you help in any form that you need. So if you need to move this weekend, he has a truck.
That's right. But the return of Battlefield Rising Sun this Thursday and every Thursday this week. We're going to be starting that up again. I was able to clear my work schedule, so yeah, get hyped for that.
All right, make sure to check that out. We're going to get out of here. I'm Circus. That's Kamel.
Peace out.
And we'll see you next time.